here on a Betfred South Africa. Make sure to like, subscribe and share our content with your friends, and maybe they can also edify to their bet slips by checking out some of what we have to say in terms of the stats and some of our predictions. Now our team has grown. We have a couple of people that are involved in giving you predictions, but I just wanted to show you, the other day I showed you a couple of bonuses and someone was like, how did you get there? Once you arrive on betfred.co.za, you go to the legend at the top, the one in black, and you select promotions. It's going to load up, and once it's finished loading up, it should take you to the promotions page. Then you can look at, in order, the bonuses first. As you can see, the bonuses, we have the birthday bonus, we have the first deposit match, we have the first bet bonus, we have the Monday Madness Lotto Boost, and we also have the 50 Rand Invite a Friend bonus. If you're into casino games, we also have Vegas games available on betfred.co.za, and we also have promotions and specials for those specific games. We've got AGT Free Spin Accumulator, we've got Pragmatic Drops and Wins, we've got Mula Mondays, where you could win your share of 25,000 Rand, and we also have AGT Free Spin Comebacks available at betfred.co.za. For all our sports fans, obviously, you're watching the Diski Preview Show, I assume that you're in it for the sports. We've also got you with some sports promos, including Betfred Fantasy for domestic football. We also have a live IPL betting, buy one, get one free. You can check that out on the promotions on betfred.co.za. We also have your boost multiples up to 30%, and we also have your cash out in case you want to cash out your monies before your bet slip, or maybe you're watching a game, you think to yourself, this game, they've reached my target, I'm going to cash out now. I don't need to see how this game unfolds. You can definitely do that through the cash out. We also have horse racing promos, and with the photo finish launching this week, we're going to have horse racing predictions available for you here on Betfred's YouTube channel, Betfred South Africa. And as you can see, VIP Leaderboard Challenge is going to be running from the 18th of May all the way to the 12th of June. If you have not started playing, then you are falling far behind. You can check out the latest leaderboards by going to our Facebook page, or you can go into store and you will see the latest leaderboards and see if your phone number is in there and whether or not you're going to be one of our big winners. Toad Pool is now available for all our customers online and in store, and as you can see, the Toad Pool online, so it says now offering payouts plus 10% bonus for online customers. If you're an in-store customers, it's 5%. So make sure to check out if you are an in-store customer with our branches, or you can check out online by going to betfred.co.za. We also have selected horse and field head-to-heads, and we also have the best odds guaranteed on selected races. That's what I've got for you in terms of specials and promos. Big specials, big promotions coming up in just a few days, so make sure to visit betfred.co.za and stay tuned and up to date with what's going on. For now, let's talk about what's coming up this week in the UEFA Champions League. Right, we start our conversation off with the UEFA Champions League, and we started off with Napoli versus AC Milan. But before we get into that conversation, I just wanted to take you through the options that you have in terms of the games that are playing this week. We've got Napoli taking on AC Milan, we've got Chelsea taking on Real Madrid, we've got Inter Milan taking on Benfica, and we also have Bayern Munich taking on Manchester City. Now, these are all second leg matches in the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals, which does put us in a very precarious situation, because when you place your bet, you can place your bet on overall team to go through, or you can place your bet on a team winning this game in 90 minutes. That's the beauty of this specific bet. And as you can see, the odds currently at this moment in time, Napoli is sitting at 0.77 to win the game, and 3.70 for AC Milan to win the game. Don't forget that these odds are basically on the three-way in 90 minutes. Anything beyond the 90 minutes, anything beyond the two legs, does not involve this odd. This odd is just for the 90 minutes. And then we also have Chelsea taking on Real Madrid. Chelsea at this moment, 1.80 to win the match, 1.46 to win the match. So now if you're new to this, don't think that this is saying that Chelsea is going to go through if you place a bet on the three-way. It just basically means that they'll win this game over 90 minutes. Inter and Benfica also. Inter sitting at 1.18, while Benfica sitting at 2.30. And Bayern Munich versus Manchester City sitting at 1.75 for Bayern Munich and 1.39 for Manchester City. Now let's do what I love to do, and let's look at the stats and see what it is in store between AC Milan first leg and end up with a 1-0 win in favor of AC Milan, Napoli falling short. And then on the second leg, we've got to talk about what you expect and what I expect from this match. I'm going to be very brief with this one. This match is taking place at the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium, and to be honest with you, it's a very, very historic place, and Napoli will be looking to try and create some history by going through to the semi-finals and the finals of this competition and going on to win it. And the manager obviously will want to draw on the history of what this team has been able to achieve in the past, but also draw from the brilliance of some of his key players in this game against AC Milan. This is an opponent they know very well, and we'll get into that in just a second. Looking at the win probability, 54% sitting in favor of Napoli, 26% in favor of the draw, and 20% in favor of AC Milan. It does paint a picture that the win probability is saying, and a lot of us are saying, that Napoli would win this game over 90 minutes. And looking at recent form, 64% for for Napoli and 57% for AC Milan. So AC Milan's form, if you look at how they've been performing over their last 7 games, no streak to talk about. They had 2 draws in a row, and then they had a loss, win, draw, which basically tells you that they're not able to go on a run of wins in a row. So can they manage to make it another win against this opposition? Well, you have to take into account that when they went back to domestic competition, they went on, played Bologna, and they drew 1-1, which kind of paints a picture in my perception that they are focusing on the UEFA Champions League. They are putting resources to the UEFA Champions League, and they'll be trying to go to the second leg and keep Napoli quiet and secure themselves a good result. Napoli themselves went on and drew against Verona in the Serie A, which means that both these teams value the UEFA Champions League more than anything else. Napoli at this point have nothing to lose. They're already leading in the league. They also have a good big league in the lead in the league, so they don't have to invest so much resources in that because they are runaway champions at this point. But for AC Milan, they don't have a chance to win the league anymore, which means that a finish in the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League, or at least an appearance in the final, would be a good season for them. So both these teams will be putting this game as priority number 1. And looking at who is going to be involved, the likes of Victor Osimhen, very good player. He's been able to secure 4 goals in 5 appearances in the UEFA Champions League. And another player we can't ignore, Cavaradona, 8 appearances, 2 goals. But if you want to see the best of him, you have to look under assists, and you will see that he's been having one spectacular season, 8 matches and 4 assists. Wow, what a player, what a player, what a player. For AC Milan at this moment in time, goal scorers are plentiful. As you can see, Giroud getting 4 goals himself in 9 appearances, but the likes of Alexis also appearing with 2 goals in 5, and Matteo as well coming in there with 1 goal in 4 games, and we have the likes of Brahim Diaz. In fact, if you looked at the list of goal scorers, you see that Napoli is a longer list than AC Milan, but AC Milan's players, they've been able to secure them and get them this far in the competition. For me, I'm going to go with a double chance in this game, and I think also going for goals over 1.5 or 2.5 will not be a bad idea at all, with both these teams putting their priority concern on the UEFA Champions League. It's going to be a very interesting one. Double chance is my recommendation, and goals over 1.5. The first leg. So Chelsea have it all to do. It seems like a very tough situation for them. They trail by 2-0. As you can see, their previous game against Real Madrid in the quarterfinals ended 2-0 in favor of Real Madrid. But what can Chelsea do different in this leg to try and win it? Well, according to the win probability, not much, because they put 39% in favor of Real Madrid, 27% in favor of the draw, and 34% in favor of Chelsea picking up a win. So it is not completely written off that Chelsea can shock everyone and come out with a result. That win probability should shock you looking at the form that Chelsea is currently in. Chelsea have 3 losses in a row, putting their current form at 29%. In fact, in their last 7 games, they have 4 losses, 2 draws, and only the 1 win. And they've had 6 games without a loss. That should scare those who are trying to place a bet on this game, bearing in mind that these guys have not been able to secure a win in their last 6 games. And I saw a picture going around social media where they said, a video in fact going around social media where they said that the players took it upon themselves to try and put some tactics together in the last match they played. And that match they were playing is this match right here. This was against Brighton when Chelsea were trailing by 2-1. The players took it upon themselves to try and talk tactics and try to sort themselves out, which kind of then paints a picture of a lack of confidence in the manager and also a lack of confidence in the management of the team. Because if you think about it, I thought caretaker coaches, I mean, I've been watching football for a very long time. I assume you also have. And when you look at caretaker coaches, they're usually assistant coaches that are left behind by the coach that has just gone, manager that just gotten sacked, or they're usually somebody in the ranks of the club who comes in to come and steer the ship. You know, he's been part of the coaching staff, is what I'm trying to say. And with the appointment of Frank Lampard as a caretaker coach, it shocked everyone. I think it shocked myself as well. And since then, they've not been able to put together even a simple win. But looking at this, these 2 teams have met around 7 times in recent memory. And as you can see, the biggest win that Real Madrid has against Chelsea, and the biggest win that Chelsea has against Real Madrid is a 2-0 win. And as you can see there, 57% of the wins going Real Madrid's way. They've won 4 out of the 7 matches they've played against Chelsea. They've scored 14 goals to Chelsea's 10 goals, and it's looking more and more evident that Chelsea have it all to do. And also, it doesn't help the fact that in the last 8 games, Real Madrid have been able to find the back of the net successfully, and these teams have been notorious for meeting in the UEFA Champions League. As you can see, they met in 2021 twice in the UEFA Champions League in the semi-finals, and then they met in the quarterfinals of the 2021-22 campaign. So back-to-back seasons where Chelsea have been meeting Real Madrid, and since this has been happening, it has never looked good for Real Madrid. Back in 2021, it was a draw in the first leg and a win in the second leg for Chelsea, which saw them go through. And then in the previous season, it was a 3-1 win for Real Madrid, and they made it a 3-2 win in overtime to go through in the competition. This time around, they lead by 2-0. The question is, can Chelsea try to make it that much difficult? When you talk about player form, Vinicius Jr. at this point has played 9 matches and scored 6 goals, and Karim Benzema at this moment in time has played 7 matches and scored 4 goals, painting a picture where both these players are going to be in fantastic, spectacular form coming into this game. And I talk about those two players because they've been very, very good as a combination since the departure of Ronaldo. When Vinicius Jr. was still coming into the fold, a lot of us, in fact myself, I thought that this kid doesn't have what it takes to be a Real Madrid player, but he's proven all of us wrong. He's proven me wrong, and he's been so exceptional in the past 3 seasons. He's been a key member of this Real Madrid side in that front two with Benzema. On the other side, as you can see with Chelsea, because of the change of coaches, 3 coaches in 1 season, in fact 2 coaches, because Thomas Tuchel left, Graham Potter came in, and then at the end of it all, Frank Lampard comes in. 3 coaches in 1 season, and each one of these coaches like their own players. Kai Havertz getting 9 appearances and 2 goals in this competition. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang leaving Barcelona, coming to Chelsea, getting 6 appearances and 2 goals in this competition. Raheem Sterling leaving Man City, coming into this team, having 8 appearances and 3 goals. As you can see, the goals are stretched out. Jorginho, who scored that 1 goal, and it was a penalty, he is now an Arsenal player. So it's a different Chelsea side altogether. The players have not gotten a chance to gel, and it's also painting a picture, in my eyes, of a team that needs to go back to center and find their own groove once again. So for me, in terms of analyzing these stats and looking at what I've just seen, I just have to say that it has to go either Real Madrid's way or it will be a draw. So it's either Real Madrid to win or a draw, and also I'm going to go for corners. I think this game will have a lot of corners. If Chelsea come to the party, they'll be trying to score a lot of goals. The likes of Thibaut Courtois, the defenders, will be creating a lot of corners. So corners and a win-draw for Real Madrid. So Chelsea... We move on to talk about the next game taking place on Wednesday. These 2 games are going to be taking place on Wednesday, and we move on swiftly to talk about those 2. Inter Milan versus Benfica, Bayern Munich versus Manchester City. Let's start our conversation with Inter Milan versus Benfica. Now, the first leg of this match, obviously, we have to talk about the result that came out of this one, because before the game even started, a lot of people around me were saying that Benfica are going to be the favorites to go on and win this game. But Inter Milan doing what Inter Milan does best, and they go on and win this game by 2-0 in the first leg. Now let's talk about the very important details here. Inter Milan right now sitting on a win probability of 44%, 27% for the draw, 29% for Benfica to go on and win this one. You're looking at recent form from Inter Milan. They have not been looking so good. They're sitting on a form of 36%, which has 3 losses, 3 draws, and only the 1 win. But for Benfica on the other side, they have not been able to secure a win in their last 3 games. They come into this game on 4 wins back-to-back, then followed by 3 losses back-to-back. In this fixture, like I said previously, they have not met a lot of times in their history, just 4 times, and 3 of those 4 matches ended up in an Inter Milan win, Inter securing 11 goals in this fixture to Benfica 7. Now let's talk about the important details. These 2 teams played UEFA Champions League football, but on the weekend they were playing their domestic competitions, and as you can see, for Inter Milan, it meant a loss to Monza on the weekend, while on the other side, Benfica also lost their game, which made them go on 3 games without a win. The question is, could they be putting their hopes or putting their focus to the UEFA Champions League? I'd like to say they are, because if you look at Benfica's history, I mean, somebody made an 11 of Benfica players, the likes of Angel Di Maria, the likes of Darwin Núñez, players that have left Benfica. David Luiz, players that have left Benfica to go on to other European giants. And that list is quite a long list. A lot of big names in there. João Felix is also a name I've got in there. And these are players that are basically make their name for Benfica and then move on to the bigger European clubs. So for Benfica right now, it's now or never. If they're going to get into the semifinals of the UEFA Champions League, they got to risk it all. And you're looking at the likes of João Mario, Rafa Silva, players that have made an impact or a reputation for themselves in European football, where other teams, big teams, are looking to get these players secured and brought over to this side. And the likes of Gonçalo Ramos are players that I don't expect will be at Benfica by the end of this season, especially looking at the climate of European football and how these players have been swapped and changed. The likes of Monaco can tell you about their story when they went on with that Monaco side that had Kylian Mbappe into the UEFA Champions League and tore it up. And the next season they were all gone. The likes of Fabinho sold, the likes of Kylian Mbappe sold, Bernardo Silva gone. And we saw it also with Ajax when they did that miraculous season and they got to the semifinals of the UEFA Champions League, got knocked out by Tottenham Hotspurs. They also had a stellar list of players until De Ligt gone. You know, he got sold off. The boy who plays in the midfield for Barcelona at this moment in time. The thing is, when you have his name, but when you say have his face, but you don't quite remember his name. If you know his name, please leave it in the comment section below. He plays in the midfield of Barcelona. He left Ajax and went on to join Barcelona. Let me know if you know who I'm talking about. But the point is, it's now or never for Benfica. So if they can't turn this game around, most of these players will be gone next season, and they'll have to try again with a new crop of players that they've bought from all around world football, and they'll try to make them gel, and They'll try to get to the stage again of the UEFA Champions League. And if they don't do it well, they might be struggling to get back to this height once again. For Inter Milan, Romelu Lukaku, a very experienced campaigner in European competition. Don't forget that when they got into the finals of the Europa League, they had Benfica they had Romelu Lukaku as their number 9 striker. So he's quite an experienced campaigner when it comes to European football. The likes of Edin Dzeko, with the long career he's had and the big clubs he's played for, he'll also be hungry to pick up a UEFA Champions League title, or at least a silver medal. So these players, all from both sides of the camp, when you look at the players, for Inter Milan, are quite a lot of experienced campaigners who definitely need and want this medal in their cabinet. And for Benfica, these are a lot of young players who might be moving on because of how well this team has performed. So for both these teams, it'll be a do-or-die match when they meet at the Giuseppe Meazza, and it's going to be quite an interesting one when they meet at the Giuseppe Meazza. So I think overall, Inter Milan, I don't think they'll give up their position and lose this game and then therefore lose the tie. So I'm going to go for Inter Milan to go through to the next round, and I'll also go for Inter Milan to win this game. And if you don't trust what I'm saying, if you don't think that it's going to be a win either way, the safest thing to do would be then to place your bet on goals. I think goals will be reigning in this game, but the likes of Romelu Lukaku, I think Romelu Lukaku can secure a goal in this game. But for myself, it'll be an Inter win through and through. Right, so last but not least, we need to talk about Bayern Munich versus Manchester City, the game that everybody wants to talk about right now in world football. And that's because the first leg ended off with a 3-0 win in favor of Manchester City. You can see that right there on the screen. But the bigger context, the bigger story, the story that we're all writing home about is a story that reflects that Bayern Munich, sorry, I was talking about Benfica in the previous. Bayern Munich right now, they had a meltdown. I mean, you have to honestly say that they went to England and they had a meltdown in the Etihad. But let's talk about this team, this stable of European football. Bayern Munich will go into this game. It's going to be played at the Allianz Arena. Thomas Tuchel and Pep Guardiola, two managers that know each other quite so very well. They know each other also from that UEFA Champions League final where Chelsea faced Manchester City, and then Manchester City fell by the wayside as Chelsea picked up that trophy. Thomas Tuchel was the manager that season after he had been in the final the previous season with PSG and lost it again at the hands of Bayern Munich. So a lot of context, a lot of story that I'm putting in front of you right now. But this is what the numbers have to say. The win probability is sitting in favor of Manchester City at 40%, 35% sitting in favor of Bayern Munich, and 25% in between, right there in the grey area for the draw. Right now, Bayern Munich will have to deal with unstoppable Manchester City. They come into this game with 100% form at this moment in time. They've won their last 7 games. No draws. They have won their last 7 games. Look at Bayern Munich on the other side. They have 50% form coming into this game. Their last 3 games have not been so favorable, suffering a win, a loss, and a draw back to back. Now, the history between these two sides, they've met 11 times now, with 6 wins going the way of Manchester City and just the 5 wins going the way of Bayern Munich, who are the home side in this fixture. And looking at how this fixture will be shaping out, we need to talk about the fact that Bayern is not on any kind of streak, but on the other side, Manchester City currently are. So if we talk about it, Bayern Munich, who drew to Hoffenheim, lost out to Manchester City, and picked up a win against Freiburg, we have it all to do in this game. The question is, can they be able to secure 4 goals in the UEFA Champions League? 90 minutes is all they have to save themselves from being knocked out of this competition at the quarterfinal stage. Obviously, in terms of their form going to this, they had 18 goals scored, 2 goals conceded, and they had a goal difference of 16 so far in the competition. That was in the group stages. And as you can see, they came out of the group stages as the team, the big team in the group stages after being one of the most prolific goal scorers in the competition. When you look at Manchester City, they scored 14 goals during the group stages, and let's just say that Erling Haaland has taken that up a level or up a notch since the recent memory can go back in this UEFA Champions League campaign. But it's been a long season. It's been quite a very interesting season for many teams in terms of the World Cup also being right there in November, December, and it kind of disturbed a lot of teams going into how they would plan for these competitions. But now in this in the quarterfinals of the competition, it's shaped up quite well. 3 Italian sides have made it this far, which if you looked at last season's UEFA Champions League, you'd have never thought that would have been the case, but it is the case at this moment in time. And when we go on to complete this conversation, you look at how it's been going for the likes of Bayern Munich. They won it in 2019-2020 season. Chelsea then won it in the 2021 season. Man City were finalists in that campaign. They missed out last season, but they're back again, and they're looking quite so good with Erling Haaland as their goal scorer. So one cannot dispel the fact that right now Manchester City look like they might go on to be champions of the UEFA Champions League. I have to admit it. At the start of the season, I said to Obi knows that it's not going to happen, but I have to be honest with myself. It does look like it might just be their season. So for me, going into this game, I'm definitely definitely going to swallow my pride and say that Manchester City are going through to the semi-final of the UEFA Champions League. That is my prediction. And that's why I'm going to leave it right now with the conversation around Manchester City and Bayern Munich.
Promise is value for money, friendly service and fast payments. When you choose to bet, Betfred.